You just gotta turn it on and start. Hello. Um, this is ostensibly about the the sorts of pressures that come up when recording, when rehearsing, or just some kind of speaker audience interaction. Um, there are there are these strange blockages that come up. They're very simple things like I feel I'm going to not perform well, I'm going to mess up, and then animalistically there's some kind of like, oh, there's a negative consequence for this. um yeah, it's a frustrating wheel spin that is happening, and it's very distracting. But I suppose one of them for these is the idea of having something in particular to say, having a certain point that I want to get to. Um, it's very that's sort of the mind I have when I make things. Generally, is I want it to be this very complete, cohesive thing um, that could not be improved upon in the moment, at the very least. Like, that was the best possible thing that could have been made at that time. Um, but this is kind of stifling for obvious reasons. It's very anti-progress in a way, um, and what I've what I've noticed with what have I noticed? There's other blogs or other folks that can just turn this on at any moment when they have a thought. It's like, oh, I gotta share this. Um, Osaka syndrome is the one I'm thinking of, and the what it seems like is the bar is just very low at all times. Like it just does not matter um, the quality of this thought or anything. Like it's literally just about the exercise of getting it out there, the exercise of speaking itself. Um, and when your mind is oriented in this completely other direction of quality and of immortalizing good art or something, um, yeah, it just totally goes counter to being able to do this at all, generally, or being able to do it consistently. It's just not what is on the mind of people who are doing this on the regular as a kind of exercise. Um, what else do I have? I have the instinct to say more, but I don't know that it does have more to it. Maybe not this idea. Maybe I just want to keep talking. Maybe I enjoy doing this when I'm able to. Um, Gotta collect my thoughts on camera. There is a pause button, though. I've never tried this pause button. Hold on. Okay, so I guess related to this pause button thing, something what I wanted to say was the like moving from one mode to another. Um, it's very difficult when you because like it doesn't matter what form it takes. It is a routine, and it is what you're used to, or it is the mechanism that you have already, and so it's this weird like threshold, like mirage thing that kind of holds you in place when you're trying to move from one mechanism to another. Because it feels so alien, and it feels like it's supposed to be almost insurmountable, or it's like it's going to be a lot of effort to move from one mode to another, to just reshuffle everything. Because it's like very destabilizing to, if you built a nice thing and it's like, oh, none of this is what's needed, you got to clear the board. Like if you drew a nice sketch, but it's like, this is not what we need. It's a lot of pressure. Yeah, it feels a lot of pressure to have to get rid of all that and then switch to a different mode entirely. But the actual effort required is like almost nothing. Like, there are all kinds of things we do throughout the day on the regular without thinking about it that take more effort than that. It's just the perception of it. So things like, yeah, perception, expectation, all these things that you've probably already heard everywhere like 100 times, but really getting them to stick, like these ideas of like codifying it into things you can do to actually start changing things at will with how you do things. So, for instance, here, I'll have the idea of wanting to speak in the camera, but I'll have like a list of topics that I want to get through, and it's like, oh, okay, I have to pick one, and then I have to like rehearse it, and like I have to really make sure I get the points that I wanted across. But like that's not the most efficient way to get to those. Really, like teaching or relaying something to somebody else when you actually know it, like not only is effortless, but it's also, it can be like overflowing in a way where it's like, you know it so much you can communicate it repeatedly over and over again in a clearer manner, where it's like, because you know exactly what you're going to say, you know exactly what this object is already. So if you haven't already gotten to that point, the other function of turning a camera on is to work out an idea, is to like see, like, okay, I feel this thread pulling on me, let me learn it in this external way. Can I explain this, and will explaining it, cause it to shuffle itself out into a more understood and fleshed out form, that I wouldn't be able to get otherwise if I was just thinking about it? Because like a lot of these sentences that I'm saying might happen in my head, but it will kind of just dissolve. It won't really solidify. Having all this external it's a form of like scratching into a vinyl. Like there's a permanence to it, even if in theory I could delete this. Still, just like feeling the physical vibration going on in my neck, and the live feedback of of what I'm doing here. Just hearing it bounce off the room, the idea that this is like a printed out file that it's going to, like, all of that makes it very different, and it solidifies it in a way that I wouldn't be able to get otherwise. What was I saying? This wandered off from something else. Yeah, so that's the other function of recording these. Like, at least as I see it right now, there's either you know a thing and you say it, or you don't know and you're like figuring it out, you're working it out. And I think when you muddle those two, not necessarily for one video, but like just in your head, if you're like, if you have the idea of, oh, I'm gonna do this one, I'm gonna relay this information, but you don't actually have that, you're now in a position where what you need to be doing is working this out. You need to be in that mode, but you think you're going for the other mode of like, oh, I just need to teach this. And so that can be video to video, or whatever other medium this is relevant to, or it can be moment to moment. Like I've noticed throughout this recording, it has been moment to moment where there is the switch and there's sort of the confusion that can happen between misunderstanding which of those two modes is meant to be happening in this moment. Yeah, so really, really all of it can be effortless. Whatever needs to be happening can be effortless. You just need to know what needs to be happening right now. You need to understand where the momentum is taking you and what is called for in that very moment. So yeah, that's a good stopping point. I think I got what I wanted in the end. I came to a point. Understand the momentum before you and follow that. I suppose that's something.